Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations, a podcast that teaches you how to create a clutter-free, functional, and simply happy life. I'm Loretta King, a professional organizer who supports families with practical steps to simplify their lives and create a more organized home. I'm passionate about supporting neurodivergent families and individuals like myself. Are you the type of person to easily let go and donate your items, or would you prefer to know where the items are going? In today's episode, I'm chatting with Loretta Hart in her segment Making Life Better on 94.7 Pulse FM radio. Loretta is a happiness strategist who helps people find their joy. We discuss why it's so difficult to let go of stuff and simple steps to help you practice tolerating emotions associated with decluttering, like anxiety, sadness, and guilt. Let's jump into this Simply Happy guest conversation.
Good morning and welcome back to Loretta's Front Page here for 94.7 The Pulse. It's 5 minutes past 10. It is great to be in the studio this morning, and we're heading into our Making Life Better segment. And I enjoy this part of the program every week. I enjoy all parts of my program. I can't pick a favourite really. I shouldn't. But I do enjoy this part because this is where I get tips for my life. And if you get a tip for your life, that just happens to be good luck, I think, as we go along. Welcome to Loretta King from Simply Happy, who is our resident professional organiser. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, do you know what? It helps if I actually... How about we do that microphone? Go again.
Thanks for having me again. It's good to be back.
It's wonderful to have you here. Narelle, we've been talking about connection and belonging and feelings of loneliness and isolation and those sort of things. And we had the wonderful Anne-Marie Hannon from the Geelong Regional Library Corporation. They've got a great event happening in Drysdale tonight, which is called Lit Lounge. If you want to join a book club, you can go along and be part of that and find a book club.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And it can be anywhere in Geelong, is it?
Well, it's being held at Drysdale.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go down there and be part of finding and crafting your own book club.
Oh, that's fantastic. I had a book club when my daughter was, 15 years ago. We still actually do catch up, but probably don't read the book as often now. It's maybe one a year.
Well, hang on. Is it a lot of wine and cheese and one book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. But I think that we have sometimes big collections in our life of things that we love and we have in our environment. And I'm sure you see, as a professional organizer, you see people who have things that matter to them in their environment. But sometimes we need to shift it. How do people get their heads around that?
Like moving the things? Yeah. Well, it's a huge thing because it's really emotional. We're really emotionally attached to our things. So it's like looking at why we have it, like what the connection is. It might be a memory because of someone. It might be because it's helping you to remember a particular situation. And if you didn't have that item, you might not ever remember that again. Some of us need those visual reminders. And then there's things that we maybe value more than they actually are. So it's called the endowment effect or theory. And so you might think that you've got your dress and that dress you want to sell is worth, say, maybe $300.
Yeah, well, I bought it for $300. Isn't it still worth $300?
No. But even that, the fact that you might have thought it was $300, but if you actually look back through your receipts, it could be actually it was worth probably $100. But once you own it, you inflate the price of it as well because it means so much more to you.
Is that about justifying why I've still got it?
Probably. Yeah, it is. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And I think also whilst there might be things that have those in our environment, sometimes we also inherit things. Maybe we've had a parent who's passed away and we have their things that we then take on and carry around with us as well. We have a lot of baggage in our baggage. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. And I see this a lot. I've got a few clients actually at the moment who have a house full of beautiful furniture, but there's too much for one person. They don't need all of the furniture, but each piece is passed down from a generation prior. And she's now just working out which ones she's going to keep and working through the stories. Like she already shared a story with me. And then she went, the next time I came back, she goes, actually, I don't think I want that anymore. Because it was like she'd shared all the meaning about it. And she said, I found something else that I think I would like to keep that's smaller and has a story around it. But just the fact of people sometimes sharing a story and someone listening to it, they're more likely to then go, okay, I don't actually need that now, but they needed to share the story around it.
When you're working with someone who has a lot of possessions and a lot of things, and they're identifying that they need to move some of these things on, and they don't need them anymore, but they're not quite sure how to get started. How do we get started when we're trying to, it feels like break connection with something. How do we start that process?
So it's also another really great way for me when I'm working with a client is that we might just start with rubbish. So we remove the rubbish so that they're tuned into the feeling of letting go of something and go, oh, actually, that's that emotion. I don't really like that feeling. It might be sadness. It might be anxiety. It might be guilt. And once they've in touch with that feeling, they go, okay, sit with it for a bit. Then they're more likely to go, okay, when I actually let go of the next thing, I can then relate to that and go, oh yeah, that's that uncomfortable feeling. But it did go away. It didn't stay forever. It just stayed for a small amount of time and then you moved on. So it's talking through those emotions and how they make you feel, but then how they didn't last. It did go away.
Right. So it's sort of like exposure therapy, they talk about it, isn't it?
Yeah,
like do it with the things that don't really matter first.
Yeah. Yes, like I would tackle a bathroom generally first or a pantry that may not have, sentimental value. The last place I'd be starting with this, maybe their wardrobe or a lounge room. There seems to be lots of things, little things in there in a lounge room, or maybe toys with kids as well. Depends on the person.
And so, so basically, when you say like you start with a bathroom that doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just gesturing wildly for someone to just sit down, and I'll be there with them very shortly. Sometimes I think I need to start at the stuff that I need to get into this, so I'm going to dive into my walk-in robe because that's the biggest problem.
Yep.
Is that my biggest problem, that I'm trying to tackle the too big thing first?
Big. Definitely. I would be starting small, like your fridge door, and going through that and maybe sorting out the jars that are out of date or the spices.
So when you said fridge door, I imagined the outside of the fridge with all my magnets.
Too. Yeah. You could do that too. Exactly. But something that's just small, it's there in your face, it's been annoying you, and when maybe you still might have some attachment to letting go of food, but generally when people see an expiry date, they're more likely to go, actually, yeah, I don't want to feed that to my family. Let me let go of that now.
Okay. Yeah. So the advice is to go to the low-hanging fruit first.
Definitely.
Go to things that don't matter so much. Okay. Don't dive into, because I think sometimes we're time poor.
Yeah.
And we think, I haven't got very long. I've got an hour. I'll just get stuck into that, all my jumpers, or I'll get stuck into getting rid of those pieces of excess jewellery that I have.
Yeah. Oh, that would be difficult because that's sentimental. That would be really hard. And it depends on your energy. So you've got to look at your day. If you're not in the mood to be doing that, that's like the worst place to be starting. Something like your cutlery drawer, even just tidying that up and taking out maybe a couple of things that you don't use anymore.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're practicing letting go of things that don't really matter.
Yes.
And that feeling of overwhelm, when you get to the other end, you go, oh, it actually wasn't as overwhelming as I thought.
Yes, and you'll then see a bit of a benefit and go, oh, actually, this is better. Our drawer doesn't have so much in it. I can find what I'm looking for rather than rifling through trying to find stuff and you could never find it. So it's definitely around understanding and realising the benefit, which is that things are easier when you don't have so many things. I had a little girl yesterday and she was helping me. I love school holidays because I get to work with kids. And then she's like, oh, do we have to do my clothes? And I went, didn't you just tell me you didn't want to put the clothes away, the washing that's here? And she's like, yeah, because there's too many. I went, that's why we're doing it. And we got rid of the clothes and then she put them in and she was going, my drawers are so much better now. I can open and close them. So for her, that was the motivation. She connected with the motivation and the benefit for her.
What about when we've moved past the low-hanging fruit? So we've got rid of the rubbish, we've done the cutlery drawer, we can't rearrange the spice rack anymore. Like we really do need to do the stuff that really needs to shift. How do we approach that?
So then maybe you need some assistance. It could be a professional organiser, but it just could be a friend that you're getting to come over there and provide that motivation, that accountability, body doubling it's called. So
how do we do that without feeling shameful?
Wow, that's probably why then you would look at a professional organizer,
Okay.
because that is my job. That's what
Yeah.
we see. So there's no judgment around helping people. And I think by sharing stories with people, they feel like, oh, yeah, okay, this is not just my house. This is everywhere. So, yeah, when I can share some stories with people, they do feel, oh, okay, so you've seen worse than this. So, yes, definitely.
I'm sure that comes out of most people's mouths.
Yes, they do.
"Oh, just don't, I'm really sorry, it's such a mess."
Yes, yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, will I tell you some stories?" Okay. So if we can maybe reach out to a loved one, or if we feel that that's too triggering, maybe it is a professional we get in.
Yeah.
When you say body doubling, what do you mean?
So you and I could be at your house and just say you've got
Are you coming today?
Yeah, and you've got a whole lot of washing you want to fold and you've been putting it off. And me just being there, I could be just having a cup of tea. I'm not necessarily helping you do the job, but me being there provides that motivation for you just to get started. And that's what I find with a lot of my clients. I'm being there in the room with them, and then they just start. And they're like, oh, this is actually really good. I'm feeling really good about it. But the thought of starting is really, really difficult.
Can I go off on a tangent? I'm just thinking about being in a teenager's room and they're lying on the bed on their device and I'm putting away their clothes. Doesn't happen at my place. Is that body doubling as well?
Well, it is. It's funny because that's what happens. I've worked with kids all this week, actually, which I love. Every day I've had at least one child. And they'll do the same. They'll sort of just sit there. But then eventually they come and they start, oh, yeah, I want that there and I want that there. And they'll do the things that they like. I had two boys. They were twins. One wanted to do the paperwork and sort out the pictures they were keeping, whereas the other boy was like more into, can I use your label maker? Can I put the little hooks up? So I was like, sure. So, I've got always lots of options and, they do come around.
I've got someone on the text line who's pushing us back to that sentimental thing. Getting back to that. They're saying, what do you do when it's a really important family piece?
Yep. So it's looking at asking people in the family, is there anyone else who really wants it? And if there's no one else who wants to take that on, then it's looking at, if you don't want to keep it, do you want to take a photo of it and store it some other way? Like maybe it's a picture of that particular item instead. And then finding someone in our community. And that's one of the things. So I've set up actually a Facebook group to be able to do this, to help some of my clients let go of their items, because they're happy if they know that someone's going to get it. They don't want it to go to an op shop where they don't know who's going to be having it. And that's part of that endowment theory. So
they actually want to know the person.
Yeah, or know of that person, although they're connected somehow.
Right, so they don't feel that giving it to an op shop is actually helping, that someone else will take that.
No, they have to know how it's going. So, yeah, they then just pop it up. Like, especially things like I've had, car wash and car, like tyre spray. Yes, that was last night. So I was like, okay, I'll put that in the Facebook group. I've put that in there this morning. It's not opened, but he didn't want that to go to the op shop. He wanted that to go to to someone who might really need it. I have another one. I have a golf cart, and I'm looking for someone who's probably between sort of maybe 50 and 70 who struggles with walking but plays golf and who would love a golf cart to put their golf clubs on.
Like a buggy? Or
it's but it's got super suspension. It's really light, really easy to use.
All right, so we're not sitting in and driving it around.
No. It's like, the one that
pull along.
Pull along, yes. So if there's anyone, they can contact you.
They can contact me.
I'm looking for someone to give that to too.
Please jump on the text line 0488 877 947. We just created a new segment.
Yes.
It's called Narelle's Shop.
Yeah.
Narelle's Shop of Generosity, giving away things. So, it's interesting that you picked up on the fact that people are happy to get rid of something. It's not about holding on to it. It's about what happens next.
Yeah.
That's actually the important part.
Definitely, yes. And so I have lots of connections with places in Geelong that I give the items to. Another one that people have really hold on to is clothing and materials, even though they're past being used and they've got enough scraps and things for themselves and rags, but they still can't let them go. So there's a Geelong, out at the recycle, they're now taking material. So now I have a pillowcase in my boot for all old material to go in, so I can take it out there when I take all the cardboard and electrical e-waste as well. landfill. So it's now that there's sort of somewhere for it to go and it's not going to landfill, people are more likely to let go of it.
And lastly, heirlooms and family, pieces that maybe don't have a lot of value beyond the family, like no one else really wants it, but it has great sentimental value. Do we just keep those things? Is it okay to keep some things?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And especially if it's got a story. That's why it's so important for us to be sharing the stories of the items that we have in our home, particularly like I have my Nana's tea set. So when we use it, I always talk about my Nana so that hopefully my children will be like, I want that item when my mum passes away because that was her Nana's. So it's really important we share stories.
Okay.
With everything that we have in our homes that maybe has been passed down through generations so that they want the items then.
Is it also a nice idea to maybe even record the stories, like maybe a bit of oral history or a bit like get out your phone and record
definitely
your mother talking about the tea set and her connection to it?
Yeah, definitely. That would be a great idea. Yeah.
And then we just need to store that somewhere.
Yeah. In the cloud.
It can go in the cloud for sure. Okay, so our steps in breaking those connections to the things that maybe that we've had it around for a long time that make us feel loved up or warm or connected to someone who we no longer have. So you get rid of the rubbish first.
Yep. Step one, yeah, definitely. Oh, well, look at the goal. What's the goal around the room or the space? Because, for example, you might want the car in the garage, or I had the girl yesterday to put her clothes away more easily. So look at what the goal is, and then from the goal, you'll work out, then that'll give you the motivation to get started. And then you may need to convince yourself that it's much more upsetting that, if you keep it, if you let it go, but actually if you start by just doing that litter, the rubbish, it's not so bad after all. And you'll get those feelings, but you'll understand, they are actually moved on. And then you can begin with like the areas, the small areas, like we said, the jars, the drawers, the cupboards in our fridges, things that don't have that sentimental. And you'll get a dopamine hit as well. So we've got to be that's the best bit about it. And you'll be like, that feels really good. And then that's the motivation to keep going. And the last bit is sort by binary decisions. And this is the bit that people get overwhelmed with. So you want to keep it or let it go. And one of the benefits of having a professional organizer, because if you say let it go and then you look around and you're like, oh my goodness, look at this big pile. I've really got to decide again what they are. Whereas when I'm working with a client, I'm doing that for them. I'm like, that's rubbish. That's like recycled cardboard. And then there might be a little pile here which it's like sell and donate, but we'll break that up after. But having someone else there really does help. It's not so overwhelming. So you're just focusing on the binary decision, keep or let go, or yes or no.
Right. Yep. So to have someone else who can do those final details is really helpful.
Yeah. I think that's a key to making you realise that's maybe why you haven't started, or you've done it in the past and why you've gone, I don't really like organising, is because it is really overwhelming.
Yeah, and I start to declutter and then I make a bigger mess and then I get interrupted and then I'm left with a big mess.
Yes. And I come in and help the big mess that's been left that they've said, I didn't know then what to do. The cupboard's nice and empty, but I don't know how to now put it back in there.
Yeah.
So that it's going to be organised.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Narelle. You make my brain feel just lighter by having you here and less cluttered. It's wonderful. Thank you, Narelle King from Simply Happy, who is our resident professional organiser who helps get our stuff sorted so it doesn't hurt our brain anymore.
Yeah.
That's the impact, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And everyone to understand why organising is harder than it looks for some people.
Yeah. That's right. It's not just, get yourself sorted.
Yeah, no.
Why can't you be organised?
No.
Yeah, there's layers, aren't there?
There is. There sure is.
There's so many.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's Simply Happy conversation. If you're looking for a safe place to sell or donate your no longer needed items, then come join the Simply Happy organisation Facebook group. You'll also find storage solution ideas, organising hacks and tips, and makeovers to provide accountability and motivation for you to get started in your home. Head to Facebook and join the Simply Happy organisation Facebook group today. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.